Hello, everyone. My name is Benjamin Kim. I go to the University of Chicago, and I'm a computer science and law letters and society major. And I had the privilege of working with the Longmont office in Colorado. Longmont is located about an hour outside of Denver. And this summer, I was working on early childhood education dashboard updates. And I spoken earlier. I was under the supervision of the great Lynn Yarmy, the data and analytics manager, and love to get started. So first, I'd like to begin just talking about what the Data and Analytics Office does, and just like the structure of the government at Longmont itself. And like many governments, this government has a bunch of different departments, right? So data and analytics serves as a part of shared services, which means that we can go to different departments and help them out with different uh, issues that they may have, primarily with data. Um, and we just tackle these data-related challenges for departments across the government. So, for example, we have dealt with projects including crash data, battery siting, things like campaign finance, surveys for public facing, like surveys for like libraries, as well as time tracking in government. And today we're going to be taking a closer look here at children, youth, and families. So at Children, Youth, and Families, their mission is to help families, children, and youth in Longmont grow, succeed, and reach their best potential. So this project is going to be related to that department. So it's for our project today. My project was for early childhood education. As a quick project overview, they have this early childhood education dashboard that has different tabs here of demand, supply, quality, barriers, etc. And as you can see here, the dashboard itself was updated in 2023. However, the data is often from sources up to 2021. And so this dashboard is helpful because the city of Longmont aims to be a leader in early childhood education, and it's a tool for them to help support the city in monitoring and tracking progress towards providing 100% of children aged 0 to 5 in Longmont with access to quality early childhood education. So, data from this dashboard can help provide information for decision making, evaluating the impact of different policies and programs, and analyzing what parts of the city might need more demand or might need more supply or things like that. So, uh, this dashboard pulls from various different data sources, including the United States Census Bureau, the University of Washington, the University of Denver, as well as the Colorado Information Marketplace, which is hosted by the Colorado government. And these there's multiple different sources from the Census Bureau, and these were all used to create the dashboard. And again, a lot of these were outdated at the time. So we have to update the dashboard. And the big question for this is to automate or not to automate. So we took the steps towards automation through Snowflake. And does Snowflake offer? Its primary job is to provide storage of data in data lakes or warehouses built upon currently existing services like Azure with Microsoft AWS and Google Cloud. And Snowflake allows us to directly connect to Power BI, which is the software that was used to create the dashboard. And that would enable us to update the data within Snowflake and automatically populate the data within the Power BI. So we wouldn't have to finagle with everything in Power BI all the time. This also, Snowflake also gives us privileging account administration and access. So we can use it for cross-department data sharing or cross-department limitations on data sharing. So we can make sure that different departments get what they need and not what they don't need. And it also avoids the problem of if someone leaves, everything falls apart because now that we have a very rigorous method of administration within Snowflake, it allows us to ensure that everything is stable as we go. And it also contains very convenient and useful libraries for the tasks that we are going to be using it for. So to revisit the data sources, we have the decennial census, the 5-year summary, and the 1-year summary all coming from the US Census Bureau. And as we can see that the data in use column is what the outdated dashboard was using. And then we have the currently available data. So the decennial census didn't change. It has not been 10 years yet, but the 5 year summary has been updated for an extra 2 years. The 1-year summary has been updated for another three. And then we have the three other sources, the report from University of Washington has yet to be updated. The early care and education data dashboard from the University of Denver was updated by 2 years, and then the Colorado Information Marketplace is updated monthly, so it's updated to 2025. Just as a quick note, the 1 year summary will be updated in September, and the 5 year summary will be updated in December. So, knowing this, it might be seem peculiar to try to automate all of these operations, because only one of them is updated monthly or with any given frequency, and the other ones seem like they can just be updated yearly or as they come, which would be not that much of a burden. So, what we take from this is that this project is greater than just the project itself. So, what can we gain outside of just updating the data? So we are primarily using this as more of a template for future use. So we can look at the processes of automating data updates through that connection of Snowflake and Power BI for applications in other departments. We also start a partnership with Snowflake itself, which allows us to um, further that relationship should we want to. And we can also assess its viability and utility. Although there may be only one data source that is truly using this automation to its fullest, we could still use that one data source as a very important marker for whether we want to continue using this tool, whether we don't want to use this tool, and so on. And also through a process of thorough documentation, we can ensure that all these decisions are made wisely and well. So future steps for myself. And for the office, for myself, I got started on this fellowship a little late. So I do still have 2 weeks remaining within my fellowship. So I'm currently engineering API use. So the Census Bureau and the Colorado Information Marketplace are both API enabled, which means that we can automate um, these data pulls, whether that be yearly or monthly, and that will also further streamline the process. So following that, we process and filter all the data in Snowflake, ensuring that they're all properly formatted and that, say, should we make an API pull, that different formatting issues don't occur, different values don't change, different categories of data don't change. And then we also connect the Power BI dashboard to the data in Snowflake. So we have to ensure that the existing format of the Power BI and all the formatting of the data that it already exists in there is consistent with the formatting that we will have in Snowflake, which again entails processing and filtering. And finally, what is ultimately might be the most important part is the documentation and finishing, because we want to make sure this is replicable. We want to make sure that they have if the office has all the information they need to assess whether this is useful to them or whether they want to replicate it for other departments as a part of their shared services component. And for the office itself, there could be even more automation. So this process of automation is simply just for data within Snowflake, automating the updates into Power BI. I am not responsible, or this project was not responsible in updating the website itself, where this dashboard would be hosted. So a further step in automation would be automating the updates to the website from updates in Power BI. And other things would include using this existing structure that I'm developing for upcoming data releases. Again, some of the data is coming out in December, some of it's coming out in September. And although I might not be here, I hope to leave a good structure such that it would be as easy as possible when those times come. And again, we can assess the viability and utility of both Snowflake and this whole process and consider additional applications for different departments within the government office. Thank you guys for listening. I would like to say a special thanks to Lynn once more, my supervisor over the summer, Yu Yang and Cassie, who have been very helpful over the course of the summer running this program. And I will take any questions. Let's see. Thank you, Lynn. I appreciate it. Chia.
Hi Ben. Thanks for such a great presentation. And something that I was wondering about was part of this fellowship, what do you think like one of your like biggest takeaways are? And since you have like 2 weeks left, what is something maybe like less technical that you want to like get out of it?
Sure.
But it could also be technical, whatever.
I think one of my biggest takeaways is that um, a lot of like there's this trope that like government offices work slow or government is super slow to everything. And although there are definitely aspects of that which are true, it's definitely not because the people within government aren't trying. I think I've witnessed some times where there's blocks on projects, such as my own, where we're just waiting to meet with someone, or there's like privilege or like um, account issues, which are difficult to hash through sometimes. So I think I became more appreciative of just people themselves and the hard work that everyone puts in. Um, and it's important to know that the product or the end of every project is not always the thing that you should focus in on. And going into these next 2 weeks, of course, I'm looking forward to working with Lynn and the rest of the team. They're always great to work with, and just to see through the end of this project, because I know that a lot of projects sometimes don't get finished. So I'm hoping that I'm able to push through and get this out and as polished as possible and leave it in a state in which the office can be most helpful to the office itself. Thank you for the question.
Hey Ben, I've got a question for you.
Sure.
I mean, like, given the cohort and the amazing presentations that all of the fellows have shared today, I'm wondering again, like, as a smaller city participating in this program, where maybe other cities or other host institutions have different resources or have or just are in a different context, do you have a recommendation on what we can do to support fellows in the future?
Hmm. I think there's a level of reassurance that comes with sometimes that comes with working with a smaller city because I guess sometimes I felt like a little less pressure or less like the whole world was relying on me, which is a helpful aspect. But I think that uh, regardless of the level of office, I think I've through listening to some of these presentations, I picked up that the people are truly just what holds together everything that happens at every single level of government, whether that be state or national or a wonderful little small team for ourselves. I think just getting to know everyone or just getting to peek into everyone's work, which I was able to do throughout the summer, was super helpful just to understand how people, what part, what part of projects that people are in and what difficulties they're running into, just so I can make a mental note of that. And should I encounter a similar issue in the future, or excuse me, sorry, or should I need to seek their expertise on certain aspects of things? And again, beyond even that, it's just getting to know the humans behind the work is super helpful in just understanding how projects get done. But thank you. I believe we are running out of time here. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and thank you for the questions as well.
I had like one another question that I just
Oh,
like thought of.
sure.
We still have like 30 seconds, so sorry. But I was wondering how do you kind of like deal with being blocked and like what your like best approach for that is? Like maybe it's a mindset thing, maybe it's like something else. Like how do you usually get unblocked?
Yeah, for myself, we encountered some blocks just with like accounts and like privileges for accessing to certain things. And for me, I spent a lot of that time learning about like Snowflake itself, right? So you could like look up tutorials, or they have a lot of tutorials themselves. You would like make a personal account rather than like a true administrative account. And so that's spending all your time as wisely as you can, given the fact that you might not be able to hack on what you want to. Anyway, thank you for the question. I'll see you guys in the main room.